Je sais pas.
So good evening to all of you. I want to thank our hosts because tonight we also have Yossi. So thank you, Yossi, for helping setting up everything. Thank you, Rosine, Sarah, my dear, dear, dear friend. For hosting this class tonight and opening your house again one more time for Torah. You just moved in this beautiful house and you just did the Achnasat, not the Chanukah Tabayit very recently, and you had already words of Torah said in this house, but I'm very honored to be the first feminine speaker in your house. And this is very special to me. And this week we are going to dedicate the class for the Refuah Shelema of your dear friend, Yehuda ben Miriam. That Bezrat Hashem, he should have a Refuah Shelema Bekarov, and he should also have very good news tomorrow, that we should really ask and focus our mind, have all the kavanot that we can, to focus our mind on asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give him very good news tomorrow, that all the doubts, all the scary words that have been used to describe what they think that he has should be erased, and that he should, Bezrat Hashem, have a perfect health and be healthy and go back home with good news. Bezrat Hashem. We're also going to dedicate that class for the Refuah Shelema of a very dear friend. Her name is Jacqueline Aziza. We also need all our prayers, Bezrat Hashem, and for all Israel, for the protection of our Chayalim, our Chatufim, that HaKadosh should let them out of their captivity, yeah, and these evil hands, Bezrat Hashem. And that's, I hope that by next week, our next Tuesday night class, we should already do a Seudat Hodaya to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for freeing them, for letting them out, all of them, Bezrat Hashem, in good health. And for Idon Shalom, then Sarah, for the Refuah Shelema Bekarot of Yosef, Ishai, ben Daniel Miriam, and Yirmiyahu ben Deborah. Sharifa ben Sarah, Taliakot ben Sarah. Okay, so anybody wants to read? We're going to read Chav, Perek Chav, Perek Kuf Chav Aleph, and Perek Kuf Lamed. You want to read?
למנצח מזמור לדוד, יענך אדוני ביום צרה, ישגבך שם אלוהי יעקב, ישלח עזרך מקודש ומציון יסעדך, יזכור כל מנחותיך ועולתך, ידשני סלע, ייתן לך כלבבך וכל עצתך ימלא, נרננה בישועתך ובשם אלוהינו נדגול. ימלא אדוני כל משאלותיך. עתה ידעתי כי הושיע אדוני משיחו, יענהו משמי קודשו. בגבורות ישע ימינו. אלה ברכב ואלה בסוסים, ואנחנו בשם אדוני אלוהינו נזכיר. המה קראו ונפלו, ואנחנו קמנו ונתעודד. אדוני הושיע, המלך יעננו ביום קראנו.
Thank you, Annie, Hannah. Anybody else wants to read? Perek Kuf Chav Aleph. Chérie, tu veux? Tu veux? C'est Shir Lamalot. Tu peux connaître celui-là? C'est Shir Lamalot. Saïna, il y a Tu connais? Si tu veux te mettre là comme ça en même temps, je peux filmer.
שיר למלאות עשה עיני אל ההרים מהאים יבוא עזרי נעים אדוני עושה שמיים בארץ לה ייתן ממות והגפה לה ינום שמרך הנה לא ינו ולא ישן, שומר ישראל אדוני שומרך אדוני צילך על יד ימינך יום השמש לא יכך ולך בלילה אדוני ישמרך מכל רע ישמור את נפשך אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה ועד
כל הכבוד, כל הכבוד לך.
And last one, who's planet? Anybody wants to read? שיר המעלות עם העמקים קראתיך אדוני. אדוני שמעה וקולי תהיינה אזנך קשבות לכל תחת מילי. עם עוונות תשמע יה אדוני מיעמוד. כי נכנס לרע למען תברא. כי ביתי אדוני כי בית הנפשי ולדבר אוכלתי. נפשי לאדוני משומרים לבוקר שומרים לבוקר. ויאחל ישראל אל אדוני כי אם אדוני החסד והרבה ומפילות. והוא יפדה את ישראל מכל עוונותיו. Okay, so tonight we're going to speak about something that we all need, something that is vital to each and every human being on earth. What is it? Self-esteem. Exactly. And believe me, that's something that we have to nurture, that's something that we have to work on. And if I am here speaking of you, in front of you tonight, is because I worked on the self-esteem for many years. Because 20-something years ago, I would have been shaking, I would have been somewhere in the kitchen, like hiding or something like that. Self-esteem is something that is vital to any human being. We all need to feel recognized, valued, appreciated, loved, and feel dignified through that sense of self-esteem. But before I start telling you about self-esteem, I want to have your idea. What is self-esteem according to you?
Confidence.
Confidence.
Feeling comfortable in your own skin.
Being comfortable in your own skin.
Like not to be scared.
Not to be scared.
To be like, you know what you want.
You know what you want.
And to express yourself.
To express yourself.
No,
Because I am from a family that's from meekness. That we were not allowed to express ourselves. And when we get to Israel, I learned that something wrong. That I need to express myself.
but it's the
And when I got my children, sorry,
express yourself with friends, family.
avec tout.
Avec
When I get married and I had my children, I said, I want to know everything about you when you come from school.
Meaning express
And
yourself, let yourself be.
Yes.
Right.
And I told them you have to express
This is
yourself.
smart. This is very
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah. I like that also.
Feel happy with yourself.
Feel happy with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grateful for what you have.
Grateful for what you have.
Confident.
Confident. Okay. And I realized that I need my glasses, so I'm gonna ask you 1 second. Because I'm confident that I really need them now. Okay, sorry. Do you want to share anything?
I think maybe just like a sense of self-worth or that you
A sense of self-worth.
or that you're deserving, of good things.
Yeah, to deserve a sense of self-worth.
Being proud of yourself.
Being proud of yourself. Loving. So we said confidence, right? We said love. We said a sense of value, of worth. What else? Nespresso. What else?
Peaceful.
Peaceful. Okay.
No, I guess
Huh?
you have Hashem's daughter, you're all-
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Feeling that you're Hashem's daughter gives you a sense of self-value. Okay. Anything else about self-esteem? Self-esteem.
How to conduct a team, how to conduct a team, to give responsibility to everybody.
When you have self-esteem, you can do that.
Yeah.
Okay? You can achieve greatness. Okay. That's very interesting. Put yourself first. Okay. In the picture, at least. Yeah. Okay.
And not to get afraid. You can what you have to put in others.
Interesting. Elisa, you have something? Confidence. Okay. So I love what you said, and that's definitely a very interesting definition of what self-esteem is. And but what is very interesting is that self-esteem is not a fact, right? We're not basing our opinion on facts, but on beliefs. It's a feeling, it's a sense, you said. It's a feeling. Self-esteem is based. I make little it's a joke, it's a joke. No. I'm going to give you exactly the definition because I think it's interesting. The dictionary says it is how we value and perceive ourselves. And it is based on beliefs and opinion about ourselves. So it's not a fact. It's a perception. It's subjective. It's how we perceive ourselves. And we can already imagine that it changes. Our perceptions, our beliefs change over experience of life, right? Over time. It depends also on how I feel by myself. Today, I may not have the same type of self-esteem on a Monday and on a Shabbat where I know I'm going to shine with my couscous and boulettes, right? Like you did tonight. Depending on the circumstances, depending on the people I am with, the self-esteem can also change if it is a belief. So what we want to work on today is tools in order to understand how to have a healthy and solid and grounded self-esteem. Because we cannot rely on beliefs, we cannot rely on what, like how the weather is in order to feel good about ourselves, to feel confident, to love ourselves or not, right? We want to ground a self-esteem that enables us to do what? Self-esteem is the key to our life, in the sense that life is what we call existence. And existence is actually taking something in potential and actualizing it, giving it a reality. I have the potential to become Esther Batsara, to be like a mother, to be a wife, to learn, to be a student, to be a cardiologist. But in order to do that, I have to actualize it. In power, in potential, you can be everything, right? Everything that Hashem decided for you to be. But if you don't have self-esteem, you cannot actualize your potential. So basically, for a human being to have a successful life, and what I will define a successful life is to become who he has the potential to become, right? He needs self-esteem.
It's the ratzon.
Yeah, it's not only the ratzon, it's that the belief that you can achieve, that inside of you, you have the resources, you have the talents, you have what it takes to become that person.
Sometimes you need some courage. Sometimes you're not in the right place because you're missing something, or you're scared.
Exactly. That's why today, what we're going to learn from the Torah today, and especially today in parashat Vayikra. Why? Because you're going to see, if you open, and I'm going to invite you to open a Chumash when you get home or this week, and read how it is written Vayikra. Vayikra, usually when you open a Chumash and you read the first, any letters from the parasha of the week, all the letters usually are written the same typology, the same font, the same size, right?
Yeah.
Vayikra el Moshe, and Akadosh Baruch Hu called out to Moshe, right? The Aleph in Vayikra is written in small, very tiny, smaller. It's a smaller size than the rest of the letters. And why? Well, there are plenty of commentators that explain why, but mostly it's because this little Aleph is a symbol of the anava, of the humility, right, of Moshe Rabbeinu, right? He represents the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu. And it's very interesting because can we be humble? Can we be modest and at the same time have a good self-esteem? That's what we're going to see today, right? What is the difference between the self-esteem, the modesty, and humility? How can we achieve greatness by being a humble person? Because when we think about a great person, physically and spiritually, and as the leader of all Am Yisrael in across history, all along history, who do we think about? Moshe Rabbeinu, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu, who is known to be the most humble person that has ever existed. And we're not speaking about what do you call that? Doorstep? Doormat. He's not a doormat. People like think that, oh, I'm a humble person, so I have to make myself so little. No, you do not have to make yourself so little. That Aleph is smaller, but it's not so little. You have to know where to stand. You have to know who you are. This is the true self-esteem, and we're going to see that today, right?
So your self-esteem is different than the person that you have in front of you. Can change.
No, so we're going to go through that now. So basically, we said a lot of our perception is based on beliefs. We believe what we have been told, right? Since we are little. Oh, you are, I'm going to get some example. Oh, this child, she's so shy. She hates to speak in public. She will never be able to speak in public. I don't even know how she's going to pass her oral exam in front of the jury or something like that, right? And this child grows up thinking, I am a shy person. I received the label that defines me, right? I am shy. I cannot speak in public. And somehow this person starts limiting her beliefs about herself. It can be, this boy, he has ADHD, he's wild, he's super active, he cannot focus, he will never do anything in school. He is and of course, what are you going to see about that child? He's going to be wild and wilder even every year. Because as he grows, he starts believing, I have no other choice. This is the definition of who I am. Even if my parents and the other important authority around me, who are my teachers and the adults that I consider like an authority in my life, tell me you are wild. Not your actions or your behavior is, but you are wild. You are stupid. You are a naughty girl. You are a liar. You are not honest. You lied to me. You stole me. You broke. You this. You don't respect. You're disrespectful. As soon as we say you are and something behind, we are actually infusing that person with the limitation of that belief that he is exactly that type of person, right? So how do we do? Because we don't want to grow like that. We want to be able to be free from those beliefs. And it's very difficult to free ourselves from those beliefs. We have to work a lot because those beliefs are going to be the food of the Yetzer Hara. And the Yetzer Hara will use those words, exact same words that have been used by people that we think are important in our life when we are a kid, in order to keep us from becoming the person we have the potential to become. We all come in this world with a mission, right? We all have a mission. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we know Rabbi Nachman Mibreslev teaches us that the day of your birthday is the day when HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that this world cannot exist without you. Why? Because you are the unique person who can bring this light to this world. No one else can bring this light. I have a good friend of mine who has a big challenge in her life, and her father passed away a year ago, and she called me recently asking me, my brother was supposed to do something for the year for my father, like to say a speech in front of people. I know I'm not able to speak in front of people, but my brother cannot do it for some reason, and it fell on my shoulders. Like, what am I going to do? I can't speak in front of people. I said, why can't you speak in front of people? This is a subject that you know very well. It's your father. It's your father. And who told you you cannot speak? Well, I've always heard I'm such a shy person. I'm not a good speaker. I'm not this, I'm not that, right? But what happened is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu placed her in this situation where she is the one who is going to speak actually tonight with her about her father, with a group of people who are going together Le'ilui Nishmato, for the elevation of his neshama. Hashem chose her. Why? I'm going to tell you, I spoke a lot with her, and I heard she is the only one to have that perception about her father. She is the only one who can actually spread the light and tell how her father was, because she saw him in a way, and with her sensibility, with her love, with her admiration for her father, she will give a speech that no one else can give. And who knows what that speech will bring into this world for her father, for the merit of her father. Because people will discover things about him that they didn't even imagine he did, because he was such a humble person. He was such a humble person, and I forgot his Hebrew name, but we're going to dedicate also that class for his neshama, for the elevation of his neshama, B'ezrat Hashem. And he was such a humble person that nobody but his little dear princess knew what he did at night to help this person and to help this person, and to spend so many hours in shul helping the community behind the scenes. Who would have known? But getting other people to know that will probably create it, or will probably ignite a desire to emulate him. Because when you see what a person achieved in his life, when you see a person who had success in his life, which means that he was able to actualize his potential, you know what it creates? A desire to emulate him. Because a desire to emulate him. Why? Because nobody wants to be at 120, right? Look back at his life and said, wow, I had a lot of, of bags. I had a lot of shoes. I had a lot of this, a lot of that. But what did I accomplish in my life? I never had kids. I never did anything for my community. I never made space for anyone else than me in my life, right? Who wants to be that person? No one. And you know why? Because on top of everything, at 120, when the neshama leaves this body, what happens in Shamayim? We meet with HaKadosh Baruch Hu when he asks us, hey, remember you had a mission? Remember, Rabbi Nachman taught you, the day you were born is the day when I decided that this world couldn't work without you. Did you accomplish your mission? What was my mission? You were supposed to be Esther Bat Sarah. Did you become Esther Bat Sarah? Did you actualize? Did you realize your potential or not? Let's see. And you know what? We're going to have a beautiful screen. And on that screen, what is going to be? The life that you had. So imagine that person, that empty shell, who had a lot of himself, full of pride, full of gava, but empty inside. He didn't do anything. He didn't make space for anything in his life. He didn't achieve anything for the community, for the other. He didn't make space for Torah. He didn't make space for nothing else but vanity, right? What happens to him? Ooh, wow. See how many clubs I went to? See how many girlfriends I had? See how many bottles of vodka I drank? Woo! Woo! Look who you had the power, the potential to become. And then comes a second movie, the movie of what he had the potential to become. Whoa. I could have had 7 kids. I could have loved a woman. I could have made my parents proud. I could have created an orphanage. I could have made so many kids growing Torah. I could have had descendants that would be the greatest cardiologist. I could have. But now I can't, because once the neshama left this body, once the neshama left this world, what happens? It can only suffer, and that is called Gehinnom. The Gehinnom is that feeling of regret, what I could have done with my life and what I didn't do with my life. Right? So self-esteem is that key component that enables to unlock your potential. Because in order to become that person, you have to believe that you have the resource to be that person. How can a caterpillar imagine to become a butterfly if he doesn't know that inside of his DNA, he can turn into a butterfly? Imagine that caterpillar who said, just a little tiny caterpillar. I will never become nothing else. I will always remain on the floor. I'm in nothing. I'm not, right? That's such a nice, humble, modest caterpillar who will never activate his potential. Do we want to be those caterpillars, or do we want to become butterflies? We want to fly. We want to become what Kadosh Baruch Hu needs us to become, and who we need now to become, because since October 7th, we know that we don't have much time. It's done. No mass. We don't want any more caterpillars in this world. We want Am Israel to turn into that beautiful butterfly that we all have the ability to become. The world is waiting for us to wake up. And it's totally insane now, right? The entire world is waiting for your light, for your light, for my light, for your light, for your light, for our individual light to be ignited. When are we going to decide to ignite it? As Jews, we have that mission, right? To be an all Elohim. When are we going to decide? I want to be that caterpillar. We're all complaining, look at this world. Mamma mia. I have some friends from Italy who called me last time. Sai, ciò che passò no, you know what happened in Roma, in Milano, ma dai. Yeah, you know what? Something happened over there. Very bad. Against Jews. Why? In Amsterdam, a friend of mine told me in Amsterdam, they're opening a new museum for of the Holocaust. And they don't let anyone in because pro-Palestinians have taken hostage.
And the opening of this museum
was crazy. Oh, we are complaining. The world became crazy. I don't know why. You know why? Because we are caterpillars. I'm sorry, but as long as we don't realize our potential, our power as Jews, the world will be insane. It's our responsibility individually to work on our self-esteem, to believe in ourselves, I believe, yes, I will be Shomeret Shabbat. I believe that, yes, because Kadosh Baruch Hu puts me in this community, in Miami, in Surfside or Harbor, wherever you are, Aventura. I am not in Peru. I am not far away from any strong communities. I'm in the core of Torah. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to be in the core of Torah in order for you to reveal yourself, to get to accept who you are, to have this self-esteem of a Jew, to be Moshe Rabbeinu. Because you know what? We all have a Moshe Rabbeinu inside of ourselves. We all have Moshe Rabbeinu. And we all have a little Pharaoh. Who do I want to lead my life? Pharaoh or Moshe? Moshe. But if I want Moshe to be my leader, I have to emulate him, right? And so let's dig into this week's parasha, because otherwise we're going to be there tomorrow. In this week's parasha, what happens? So we just closed down the Sefer Shemot last week, right? Pekudei was the last parasha of Shemot. Chazak, Veni Chazak. Okay, we all said we should give us strength and we should get stronger, right? From closing that door. Why? Because that means, okay, now Shemot this year, we know it. We got the lesson. We passed the exam. We're at the next level, right? What was Shemot about? Shemot was about the existence of Am Yisrael, the construction. We took individuals who were slaves in Egypt, right? And they came out, 20% of them, by the way, only those who believed that they were butterflies, those who were caterpillars, that they stayed in Mitzrayim and they got kaput. But those 20% of them who believed in themselves, who had good self-esteem and who had emunah in Hashem, right? What happened to them? They came out. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu gathered all their vital needs in order to transform themselves. This cocoon to transform into a butterfly. You said that, right? This cocoon was what? They were fed with the manna. They were protected by the clouds of glory. They were hydrated by the well of Miriam. They were taken care of totally. Why? Because we needed them to be focused on one thing. Do not be a slave anymore. Do not be in a survival mode. Now we need you to become good people. That's what we need you to become. Why? Because in order to receive the Torah, you need to be a good person. A Jew is a good person. If you don't have that in you, you're not coming. You're not coming. You're not part of Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael is a people, a nation of good people. Yes, we are such good people that we help our enemy, that we give a phone call. By the way, I'm sorry, listen, we're about to bomb a place where you have all the arsenal to kill us. But please move away. All the people that you put as shields, as human shields, please, okay? Because we don't want to hurt anyone, right? We have been giving up on our land. We have been doing so many things because we're good people. People are jealous. That's why they hate us, because they're jealous of our goodness. Why? Because inside of us, we have a Kadosh Baruch Hu. We are a chelek Elokam Ima'al Mamash. We are a part of Hashem inside. So who do we emulate? The 13 attributes of mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That is pure kindness. That is pure love. That can hold, that can make space even for people who hurt us. It doesn't matter. We make space for them and we accept them and we help them and we keep on giving. Right? We're not revengeful. We're not going to kill them. We're forgiving people. We're forgiving people. My family, who come from Algeria, who was naturalized French in 1870, was so happy to come to Paris in 1960 and call themselves, we're so proud to be French. Really? You remember what the French did to you?
Yeah.
Do you remember what the French did to you? Oh, we forget. We forget because we're good. We ain't like Hakadosh Baruch Hu's attributes of mercy. We're giving. We're loving kindness, even though we don't receive anything back but bad things. It doesn't matter, right? This is super important to realize who we are, because this is part of our self-esteem. We are a divine soul, right? So this week, we close down the creation of Am Israel, right? And also one very important thing. The second important part of Shemot was the conceptualization and the building of the Mishkan. What is the Mishkan? The Mishkan is a portative, we say like a mobile Bet HaMikdash that would travel with us, right, in the Midbar until we settled it in Shiloh and until Shlomo HaMelech started building the Bet HaMikdash, the first Bet HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, okay? So this is the Mishkan. What is it? It is the place of dwelling of the Shekhinah. It is the place of dwelling. It is the residence. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, now that you're a nation, now that you're one, that you are Am Israel, I want to marry you, and I want a place for us to live together. Where is it going to be? Where is our house? Where am I going to reside among you, to dwell among you? In the Mishkan. And I want each and every single Jew to participate in that. And for 4 or 5 parashot, it's going to be all about the Mishkan. The details. It took us 30 verses, 30 psukim to describe the creation of the universe. It took us 5 parashot to speak about the Mishkan and the detail, and it's repeated and this and that. Why? Because this is so important to understand. And this was exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted for us, to have a relationship with him and to welcome him and to make a space for him in this world, right? Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu used Moshe, who in Shemot also we discover Moshe Rabbeinu, right? How do we discover him? He was born to
what?
To? No, Miriam is Miriam is his sister,
Yeah.
right? And he's then saved on the Nile by Batya, the daughter of Pharaoh, right? And he's raised in a palace. So he's not raised as a Hebrew, really. And then something happens, an incident happens, and he has to go away to Midian. He goes to Midian and he becomes a shepherd over there. And as he is a shepherd and he's already practicing something that he's going to do, he's leading sheep, good animals, right? He's going to meet with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the parashat Shemot, and Hashem will appear to him as a burning bush. The burning bush is the moment when HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself to Moshe Rabbeinu. And he tells him, Moshe, I know that you were touched by the sufferance of your people, the Ivrim, the Hebrew people in Israel, in Egypt. I know you want to save them. And you know what? I chose you as my leader. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, Moshe Rabbeinu had a lisp. He was speaking like that. He said, I chose you to go to speak to Pharaoh and negotiate the freedom of the hostages, the freedom of the Ivrim that were hostages to Pharaoh, right? For 210 years. And he says, listen, I'm sorry, but you chose the wrong person. Can you listen to me? I have a list. You know what? I'm not a good speaker. I'm not going to go to Pharaoh and speak to him. I'm not a good negotiator. I have never fought. I was living a life of a prince in a palace. I am not like, like that street smart guy who can negotiate. I'm not that strong person. I'm not this, I'm not that. What do you want from me? Take my brother, Aaron. Aaron, he's the guy. Take him, right? Why is nothing? HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, listen, I know that you are humble, but wait. You have the potential. I put you in this situation to make you realize your potential. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu places us in a situation, it's because we have the potential to step in, to embrace what he is offering. I'm going to give you a personal example, okay? I came to Miami as a businesswoman, okay?
It's true.
I came to work to open franchising of furniture store for a French company. And I opened a first store with my brother. We were working together. And I met with a rabbi, a French shaliach here in Miami. At first, he was just dropping off like the newspaper every week. And then Kadosh Baruch Hu decided that I had to close down my store for a specific problem.
But what kind of store, like a clothing?
No, it was furniture and home decoration.
This is what you did in France?
Yeah, that's what I was doing in France. Together with consulting, but yeah. So I decided to find something to do with my time because I'm not the type to go and wait like that. So I said, okay, so you know what? I know that rabbi, he's very nice. He told me that he needs a little bit of help to create like flyers and work with him a little bit. I'm going to give him a hand. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu put me in this situation when that rabbi who is Rabbi Israel Frankfurter, the rabbi of the shaliach of the French Chabad here in Miami, needed someone who spoke French and who was religious in order to teach a few women who were in Gerut, who were in conversion, right? And he asked me, like, can you help me? Can you give me a hand? Because my wife doesn't speak English. And I said, what? Me teaching Torah? Listen, like I can teach marketing, I can teach Italian, I can teach French, Torah. At that moment, I was very shy. I didn't feel anything but illegitimate. I felt like an imposter. I said, Rabbi. And he said, listen, the Rabbi Milubavitch, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, said, you don't need to know from Aleph to Tav in order to teach. You need, if you know Aleph, you teach Aleph. You know Bet, you teach Bet. You know Aleph to Tav, you teach Aleph to Tav. Okay. What do you know? I said, I don't know. He said, well, it's about time you know what you know, right? And at that moment, I said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know what? Why not? If you put me in front of this situation, it's maybe because you think it's something I should do. Let's shut off this little voice in me that was telling me, you're so shy, you can't speak, you're not legitimate, and much more, right? And what did I do? I decided to accept. And 15 years after, I am still teaching Torah. Now I feel legitimate, even if at that time I didn't, because I worked a lot and I studied a lot. And I learned a little bit more than Aleph, right? But I built myself. But at that moment, I accepted the fact that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu put me in a situation, it was for me to discover something about myself that I had no idea I could own. No idea. Honestly, no idea. 20 years ago, you would have told me like you're going to teach Torah, you're going to prepare women for marriage, I would say, oof, what did you smoke? Okay, so really it wasn't the case. we all went through that moment where we're like, Hashem, why are you asking that to me? I have nothing to do with that. Why? But if you step in that thing, that position, if you embrace that opportunity to discover what you have, what Hashem placed within you, and He placed many beautiful things in you. We all have been gifted. And women, we have been gifted with at least 24 different types of gifts. You know where we know that from? When HaKadosh Baruch Hu did the matchmaking between Adam HaRishon and Chava. So Yarascha, as we say in Arabic, which means like a long time ago, right? 84 years ago, right? What happened? He said, it says in the Midrash that HaKadosh Baruch Hu prepared Chava, right? And He gave her 24 gifts, 24 talents. And today, we are all the descendants of Chava, and we all have at least 24 talents. And that's one of your homework for next time, is to take a paper and write down 24 talents of yours that are yours. And it's not easy because we have been told what our backdrafts are, what our flaws are, but what is my talent? And you know what? We know that we are all here to speak about, to do an avodat midot, to work on our midot, right? And we think, oh, first, I have to work on what is not good. I am a nervous person. I'm an anxious person. I get angry easily. I'm going to work on my anger. No. You know what you have to work on before? Rav Wolbe says, first, you have to work on your talents. Get to know what you are good at. Why? Because this is an indication of what Hashem is expecting from you. So Moshe decides to step in and he says, okay, Hineni, here I am. I'm yours. I'm going to be the leader of these people, right? And he becomes the leader. And not only he becomes the leader, because he becomes one of them when he sees, after the gift of the Luchot, after Matan Torah, when he sees the Ivrim serving the golden calf, doing that stupidest sin, what does he do? He breaks the Luchot. Why? Me too. I am a sinner now. I broke something that wasn't mine. Now I'm part of them. And because I'm part of them, I'm going to fight for them. And he comes up on Har Sinai again in order to negotiate. I'm going to have them be forgiven, right? So now he has embraced and he has accepted his role as a leader, knowing that Hashem placed all the talents and all the tools and all the resources that he needed to be that leader. But something is going to happen. Last week, it was the end of the construction of the Mishkan. Now the Shekhinah is dwelling in the Mishkan, in that tent. Everybody's so excited. Imagine all the Ivrim, the Bnei Israel are dancing and so happy and celebrating. Imagine us in a few weeks, Bezrat Hashem, when we are going to have the third Bet HaMikdash and we're going to be, wow, we're going to dance like never before, right? Yes, we will dance again. At the Bet HaMikdash, Bezrat Hashem, not in a Nova dance party. We will dance again at the Bet HaMikdash, saying, wow, Kadosh Baruch Hu, here you are again. You are among us. There's nothing more satisfying than this, right? One person is not part of that dance. Moshe Rabbeinu is stepping aside. He's not part of them now. He's looking, he's observing. Of course, he has a lot of nachat, of this accomplishment, of satisfaction of what has happened. But am I part of the picture now? Asked Moshe to himself. I've been this leader. I've been that person. But now I hear a voice again. The imposter syndrome is coming back. If Hashem is here dwelling, do they need me? Right? Even when we have accepted to become that butterfly, even when we became that butterfly, even when we know that we have the ability to be that butterfly, sometimes it might happen that a situation is changing. And again, at the end, I'm nothing else than a caterpillar, an evolved caterpillar, but you know what? I'm not worth much. Self-esteem is not something that we gain forever. Self-esteem is something that is triggered by the events in our life. Self-esteem is something we have to nourish. And we also have to listen to Hashem's voice. So Hashem speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu. Not only he speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu, but Vayikra Moshe. Moshe! I hope nobody's sleeping. Moshe! Moshe, he screams, he calls out to Moshe Rabbeinu from the tent of meetings, right? Says the parashat. Hashem is calling Moshe. Moshe, listen, I am here, it's true, but I still need you. And I don't need you with your little tiny aleph. I need you with an aleph. I need you to be humble, but not to be modest. I need you to have self-esteem because I still need you. You know what you're going to do from now on? You still have a role to play. You're going to teach the Bnei Israel the korbanot. And you're not like everyone else. You're coming now. I give you a private tour of the Mishkan. And Moshe enters the Mishkan on his own. And he's going to be taught about the korbanot. Now, what is it, korbanot? C'est quoi un korban? What is a korban? A sacrifice, right? A korban is a sacrifice. What do we sacrifice in the Bet HaMikdash or in the Mishkan? Animals. What do? We burn them. And we burn them. And what do? We burn them for the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As an offering to Hashem, we burn the animal to let the divine shine, right? What is a korban today in our life? In 2024, tefillah. But what does it mean, a korban? It's very interesting. The Rambam says that today, what we consider the tefillah, so today, it's not today, but at the time of the Rambam, what we consider a korban is actually a sacrifice that we do for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What type of sacrifice? We sacrifice our animal self to the benefit of our divine self. What does it mean? You know, this opportunity that we have, sometimes I'm going to get it. It's not a personal example. Mother-in-law, if you ever watch that recording, it's not a personal example, but imagine someone who has the mother-in-law, you know, that the one who's always trying to get in her daughter-in-law into trouble, right? Who is like this mean person, right? Imagine that this daughter-in-law is in a gathering with her friends, and something happens that someone speaks about a story, and she's like, oh my God, I have to tell them what happened with my mother. I know what she did to me, because she really deserves me to tell everyone what she did to me. It was so horrible. It was so annoying and so typical of what she does, right? It almost burns her lips. She so wants to share that episode with her friends. But inside, she has her divine soul telling her, not going to do Lashon Hara. What's the point? You're going to say that, and then what? You're going to first spoil your lips, your mouth, You're going to spoil their ears. You're going to desacralize the mother of your husband. And then what? What did you gain from it? Right? But sometimes it's burning inside to tell what happened and what she did because it's crispy, like it's right? If that person decides to burn the animal impulse, the animal part of herself, in order to let the divine self win, this is a big korban. This is a sacrifice, an offering to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For someone who starts keeping kosher, imagine she passes by McDonald's, right? And she smells the smell of, I don't know, for me it's disgusting, but the smell of
French fries.
of French fries or cheese and meat, juicy, and she's like, oh my goodness, no, oh my God, it's so difficult, it's so tough for me to achieve that. What am I gonna do? No, I promised HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Rosh Hashanah this year, I'm going to be stronger with my kashrut, I'm going to go forward, I promise HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but it's so difficult, look at the smell. If she manages to burn the animal within herself and to let the divine
So you're talking about Giselle, actually.
yeah, the animal part of you, whatever, it's not only your it's
Restriction.
it's really like the
Relation.
impulse, like the what the body asks you to do, right? It's like a bare necessity, and I will not do like a bare necessity. Exactly, the chelek behemit, right? The animal soul. So this part of us, when we shut it down, when we shush it, when we burn it, when we fight against it, this is our way to do a sacrifice, to do a korban to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And so Moshe Rabbeinu is going to teach that to us, right? And to the Bnei Israel. Not only, what is in a korban also? Korban is the same as karov. What does it mean, karov? Close, right? Why close? Because when I do that for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when I do a sacrifice for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, imagine, I saw something I'm going to allow myself to tell a story that happened with Rosine. Rosine moved in this house 2 days, so 1 day before she left to Japan and to a very long trip, right? And she needed to rush out of the other house where she had been staying for some months already. And I come after Shabbat, she was leaving, I think, on Sunday, and I see her like really like super busy, right? And that day I didn't do a korban, but a very good friend of hers, Pearl Dweck, and I'm going to cite her because she's a very special woman, was here, Motzei Shabbat, right? Unpacking with her, going on Amazon, trying to find like the perfect bed sheet in order to help Rosie. And this woman probably had other things to do, right? She has a family. She's a mother and a grandmother. She has a house. She has a husband. She is a busy person. She probably had so many other things to do, right? Like I was just passing by, saying hi. I didn't do a korban that night. But this girl, may Hashem protect her, she did a korban that day. What did she do? She helped her friend schlep into her house in a moment of really like exhaustion because she was so exhausted and she was leaving them for a long journey. Okay. And what did it create between them two? Closeness. This Rosine will never forget. Right? Never forget. She was able on a Saturday night at maybe 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., I don't know, 3 a.m.
3 a.m., yeah.
to be there, like in her clothing, Shabbat clothing, unpacking and getting this ready and putting all the cardboards, flooding it up, all the cardboards to put them in the front because there was no yet the turf and stuff. And she was working and working, didn't stop for 6 hours, right? What did it create? Closeness. Because when you do a korban, it creates closeness with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says, look at my daughter, Pearly. My goodness, my little daughter, I love you so much. Look how cute you are with your sister, Rosie and Sarah. I love that. So it gives closeness with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because when you see that 2 of your kids do sacrifices one for another, right? You have 3 daughters. When you see that they do something out of their way in order to help, like, wow, how much nachat does it give me? I love them so much, right? So it gives closeness with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and with the person you've been doing that korban for. So double closeness, right? Double closeness. So we have to understand Moshe in this moment is teaching us. Hashem is telling him, you're not done. Your role is not done. You're still our leader and I still need you. I need you to teach them how to create closeness with one another and with me. Because we will need that for the rest of the lives of Am Yisrael. I need all Am Yisrael to understand that they need to be close. I need them to be arevim ze lazeh, to be responsible for one another, to be interconnected, to help each other, to love each other. And how do you create that? By doing korbanot. Because I do a sacrifice for you. Because Rosine is a super busy woman, and she does so many sacrifices to go every single event she's invited to, almost, besides maybe when she had pneumonia, right? Why? Because she knows that it's so important for the person who hosts that she comes and she shows up. And so what happens? Everybody is close to her because she did that sacrifice for them, right? It's not easy. Sacrifice of sleep, the sacrifice of family time sometimes, but I stand by you. Stand by me, right? I'll stand by you. It is closeness. It is creating closeness. When there is someone in the community that is not feeling good, I'm going to be there for her. When there is someone in the community that loses a close member of the family, I'm here for them. Right? This is sacrifices. These are korbanot.
Not here only for good time. We have to see the people to good time and to bad time.
Exactly.
Only the bad time, then the good time. And then you see
and this is korbanot. This is creating closeness among Am Yisrael, and that's what we need. And with HaKadosh Baruch. So why? Now we have to understand. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us the opportunity to understand what is self-esteem. Self-esteem is not being a doormat. Self-esteem is accepting to endorse a responsibility as a Jew to bring the light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to bring, to do mitzvot, to do korbanot for one another. Right? It's not easy. Right now, we're doing a lot of efforts for Eretz Israel, for the soldiers, to help with the money, to send equipment, to send this, to send that. It's a lot of sacrifice, right? But this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to do right now. Ignite our inner light. Do not let anyone, not any voice inside of you, shut your light off. Turn your light off, dim it. Do not dim your light. Every morning we say, Moda ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam, she'echezat bi nishmati v'chemra rabba v'natel. What do we say? We say, thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm so grateful that you put back my neshama inside of my body. Rabba emunatecha. Big is your emunah. Really? In who? In me. Big is your emunah in me. You put back my neshama in this body. Why? Because you believe, Hashem, that today I'm going to use my potential power of a butterfly to achieve your service, to bring light to this world. This is why you gave me light today. This is why you brought back my neshama in this world. And you know, the neshama has a second name. The neshama, and I'm going to tell you where I found this. The neshama is called, I will send Lina down because I don't remember where, but it's in a specific sefer that we learn that the name of the neshama is kavod. Kavod is honor, but the kavod atzmi is the self-esteem in Hebrew. The kavod atzmi. If I realize who I am, if I realize that the kavod atzmi is just realizing
My pride is
it's my pride, but it means like the self-esteem. It's the honor that I give to myself, right? Kavod is a neshama. Because if I want to be proud of something, if I'm entitled to be proud of something, if I'm entitled to understand what is my self-esteem, what is my worth, I am worth HaKadosh Baruch Hu because I am the neshama. The kavod is the neshama. My honor is that I am a neshama. I am not a body. I am not brown with the brown eyes and this and that. This is the globe of my neshama. This is the envelope. I am a neshama, and this is why we cannot diminish who we are. This is what gives us the strength to love ourselves. We say in the Shema 3 times a day, there's a mitzvah to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu with all our heart, with all our needs, and with all our thoughts, right? Our mind. It's true. So we also have to love ourselves. And why is it so important to love ourselves? Because how can we achieve the big principle of the Torah that is Ve'ahavta lireacha kamocha, and you will love your fellow like you love yourself. If I don't love myself, most of the people do not love themselves. How can they love someone else? You cannot love someone like yourself if you don't love yourself. So it has to start by you, by realizing who you are. The 3 components of self-esteem, and here is the light coach that speaks to you, not the Torah teacher, is self-love, self-trust, and self-love, self-trust, and self-image, and loving your image also, right? The image is easy. Understanding that we are in the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We were created in the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we have to appreciate who we are, right? Second, self-love. We are a neshama, and neshama is a chelek Elokah. So because of this, we have to also love ourselves, right? This is the self-love. And the last one is the self-trust. If I am a part of Hashem, and I know that I can trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I have bitachon b'Hashem, then I also can trust myself. So that's why I gave you this I made you like a little test with tips, and I invite you to do it at home if you'd like. It's a test that is called the test of self-esteem in order to evaluate where you stand, right? So you have a part on self-trust, a part on self-love, and a part on self-image. Once you get the result of this test, right, And it's not very complicated, don't need to be a genius in math to do it. You can see the results here and some tips, basic tips. So I invite you to do that whenever you like at home. And I also put a summary of the parashat, so you have the ability to review the parashat. Thank you again.
Your self-esteem, that's your